right, so today we're going to be reacting to some TikToks. Now, I can already tell that some of the TikToks we have submitted here are going to be very interesting. I do want to point out that for everybody watching this first TikTok, this is actually not happening, but because I know exactly what TikTok this is already. And let me tell you, I had people coming into my chat going, how do you feel about this? Are you excited for this? I want to point out, this is not happening, okay? Here we go.
4 of Overwatch 2 is quickly approaching, and the dev team is introducing a game-changing element called map passives. We already know that this is going to be the first season with every single map in the map pool. Now let's get into exactly what these hero-specific map passives are. For example, on Paraíso, Lucio's sound barrier will increase from a 750 overhealth to 1000. On Shambali Monastery, Ramatra's Annihilation will increase from a 20-second cap to a 25-second cap. Eichenwald will finally return this season, and Reinhardt mains will be happy to hear that. His Earth Shatter will have a larger area effect.
You know what I love about this, by the way? So first of all, just to talk about map passives in a second, I don't think they should ever add map passives to Overwatch, right? What I loved about this TikTok though, was that it'd go into the range and be like, Eichenwald, the AoE is increased by 35%, and then you just get a training range shatter, not on a map that has a map passive. If there even was map passives, it's just in the training range. And there was people who literally came in and were like, hey, how do you feel about these going to next season? I'm like, no, they're not a thing.
On this map specifically, on New Queen Street, Sojourn's Overclock will charge 25% faster, and these are just some of the changes.
Just so you know, this is not actually a thing, alright? This is not actually a thing.
The point of Circuit Royale can actually put out fire. So next...
Do not do this. This is not... No, it does not work that way.
Next time you're burning up here, keep that in mind.
It's real? Is it? No.
So next time you're burning up here, keep that in mind.
Does that work? I don't even know. I don't think it is. Yeah, I'm reading the comments. Yeah, exactly. Look at the first comment here. This also goes to the Antarctic Peninsula map. If you jump off the map, the fire will be put out since there's water. Okay? No, I'm not going to test that. I'm telling you, that's not real.
Be the bane of low-tier competitive games, but I'm gonna tell you the best way to counter Zarya right now. High damage characters like Reaper, Bastion, and even Soldier and Sojourn can be great counters for Zarya. The biggest problem with Zarya is that when you do damage to her bubbles, she gains charge. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that once her bubble is up, you should stop shooting her completely. What you should be doing is forcing those 2 bubbles out really quickly and then melting her after those bubbles are gone. Her high charge doesn't matter if she's dead.
All right, we're going to talk about this very quickly. Some good advice here. Also, a little bit of addition to what's being talked about here. First of all, let me refresh
Zarya
this.
Can be the bane of low-tier competitive games, but I'm going to tell you the best way to counter Zarya right now.
I'll pause.
High damage characters
Reaper, not bad against Zarya. Can't disagree with that.
like Reaper, Bastion.
Bastion is very good against Zarya, just to point that out.
And even Soldier.
Who's Souls? And even Souls and Sojourn? Who's Souls? You mean Soldier? Wait. Was that does the TTS automatically update and something who's Souls? Oh, it's automatic closed captioning? I'm like, who is Souls?
And Sojourn can be great counters for Zarya.
This is all correct so far.
The biggest problem with Zarya is that when you do damage to her bubbles, she gains charge. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that once her bubble is up, you should stop shooting her completely.
Now, this is definitely something that I've even seen in chat where people are like, why are you shooting the Zarya bubbles? I want to talk about this a little bit, though, because I can add on to a little bit what's being said here. You ready?
What you should be doing is forcing those 2 bubbles out really quickly and then melting her after those bubbles are gone.
So, to talk about that, not incorrect, but it's also very situational. Let's say that a team fight just started and a Zarya bubbles, far away. You don't need to break those bubbles. If you can't follow up on the Zarya, you technically don't have to break the bubble. A lot of the reason as to why we'll break Zarya's bubble is when Zarya is kind of out of position. So the best way to actually get Zarya is when Zarya's out of position. So the advice in that isn't necessarily incorrect, but you definitely have to pay attention to where the position of the Zarya is, because if Zarya is really far back and then you're just spamming Zarya's bubbles and no one can follow up, now Zarya has 80 charge and you lose a little bit of that time and in value on that. So the hero like suggestions, not bad. The idea of breaking bubbles to be able to get the Zarya, not bad, but it's also situational based off of where the Zarya is, right? I shoot bubbles a lot, but it's usually because the Zarya is in a spot where we can follow up immediately. Yeah, definitely not the worst advice on that.
Her high charge doesn't matter if she's dead.
Best tank matchups in Overwatch 2. His best matchup, in my opinion, is against Winston. Whilst both heroes look to dive each other's backlines, Doomfist is generally more effective going in alone and requires less of his team's resources. This allows the Doomfist to dive effectively by himself and cause a threat to the enemy backline, whilst his teammates can now deal with the isolated Winston. Conversely, his worst matchup comes against Orisa, who is able to stay with her team and protect them from his dive. Orisa is able to keep tabs on the Doomfist, using her cooldowns to counter the plays that the Doomfist tries to make. She can fortify...
Orisa's good against Doom. Yeah, Orisa's good against Doom. I would actually say that. I would say Orisa's good against Doom. So was Hog. Hog's decent. Hog isn't as good as Hog was, but that's not incorrect. Zarya's kind of like, I'm like 50-50 on that, just because like there's times where I'll play Zarya, and if the Doom is really good at displacing you, you can't do as much. But like, I don't know, like, this isn't like necessarily incorrect. Doom is pretty good against Winston. Doom is pretty good against Junker Queen, especially Junker Queen, because you can like get a lot of like your cooldowns interrupted, or like you can get like punched back. Like, it's not like incorrect, you know?
If the Doom tries to punch, and she can javelin if the Doom tries to
Yeah, that's
block.
not...
Doom is now not able to isolate targets, and definitely cannot fight the Orisa, so he becomes pretty useless in this match.
Yeah, the thing is though, like if I play Doomfist, I'm like pretty useless in all matchups, because I'm just bad at Doom.
Wrecking Ball tech, part 4. First one is the blender. If you hook onto a part directly below the high ground that you're going to go to, you can actually get into a blender-like position like this and infinitely boop your enemies into a corner. The second one is the corner.
So this one, by the way, is a funny tech.
You're going to go to, you can...
This is a funny tech because on Oasis, you know the map with like the circle in the middle? You can do the exact same thing on that map, and it's just hilarious looking. Does it get value sometimes? Yes. Does it not get value sometimes? No. But it's fun.
Into a blender-like position like this and infinitely boop your enemies into a corner.
That's a good play.
Is the corner ledge super jump. On certain parts of some maps, the corners give you a really high bounce. If you combine it with some certain tech like this, you can actually pull off some sick kills like this. The final one is the...
Yeah, let's be honest, chat. If I try to do this tech, this is not happening. You know what happens when I do this? You know what happens if I try to do this tech? I just run into the wall 15 times and then get one shot by somebody. And by one shot, they just do a bunch of damage to me over that 15 seconds. This is great tech. I am terrible at it.
Corners give you a really high bounce.
So what you do is you bounce off the corner, you go up, you keep the momentum, and you're able to boot people off. It's a great idea.
Basically, if you boop an enemy and the enemy changes in or distance by a long margin, you can actually boop them twice.
Once again, this is great advice for Wrecking Ball. But I barely can hit a single boop. Never mind a double boop into like a strafe. Listen, when I start hitting my single boops consistently, then I'll start applying some of this tech. It's great. This is great. This is like great advice and really cool tech to learn. I'm not... Me, though? I will struggle at that.
Comments and hot takes, part 16. When you find a game, everyone should be able to vote for 3 maps, and after 15 seconds or so, the map with the most votes will be played. I like that idea. Bring it back to old COD style.
I was just gonna say, like, the thing with map votes is it will never be on, like... It will end up being, you'll end up playing the exact same map sometimes. I know that people want map votes, and I think maybe one day map votes could happen if there's more maps. It's just like, yeah, exactly. Certain modes will be never played, certain maps will be never played. Then there'll be people who like will 5-stack and always vote for the same map and try to get that map every single time, depending on how it worked. Like, could they apply something like that in the future? Absolutely. Will there be something right now they would do that? No. No. You said push will never be played? All right, you're right. Push. Okay, so let me ask you a question, though. You said push will never be played. What if all 3 maps voted for were Esperanza, New Queen Street, and Coliseo? Those are the 3 maps you can vote for. So that's different? No, it's not. No, it's not. You just said push will never be played, and I just gave you 3 maps you could vote for. Are you playing a push map? I always loved like the difference of opinions on maps. Some people are like, Coliseo's the best map. Other people are like, New Queen Street's the best one. Esperanza's the best one. Honestly, my favorite one is Esperanza because it's just the way it plays I like, but I don't know. I'm getting used to like all the maps at this point.
They should add a friendly fire arcade mode, yeah, because that wouldn't be toxic at all. Battle of the...
Yeah, friendly fire arcade mode. I just want to point out, think about like all of the random spam damage that you will like die to in Overwatch, like in the back line randomly. Now imagine your teammates. I don't even know how that would be. Actually, it would probably be funny. I'll be honest with you. It would probably be hilarious to watch. But let me tell you, it would be tough.
Olympus should come back once in a while. Best event ever. It was fun, and I think they should have all events in a playlist available to play all year round. Pancake.
I like the idea of the events. I do think the events have a little bit more of like excitement to them when they aren't consistently up. Best event ever. I mean, it depends what hero you were playing, right? You know what I mean? I think like having the events occasionally is perfectly fine. I mean, maybe you could keep some of the balance. Like you could have the option to add the balance.
Pancakes are better than waffles. Fight me. Ball shit egg.
Ooh, pancakes are better than waffles? That feels like a hot take. I like waffles.
Exit out of his mech when it dies.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, because he would be the hardest thing to hit in the world. You think Diva out of mech is hard? Could you imagine trying to hit a hamster?
All right, first of all, hear me out. It would be hilarious. Would it be tough to get the hamster? Would it be tough to get Wrecking Ball? Yes. But would it be hilarious? Absolutely. If there could just be like, even just an event, just call the event, Wrecking Ball can be demeched. And I think it'd be hilarious. I'm just saying. Make it possible.
Probably don't know. First and most important tip I have is to get creative. This character has some of the highest movement and one of the highest skill ceilings in the game. You can basically show up anywhere at any time, on anyone. And when you learn to use that to its full potential, you really unlock the character.
First of all, when I play Doomfist, I absolutely get creative. 1,000% I get creative on Doomfist. Does it work? No. But like, if the first tip is to get creative as Doomfist, I'm already on my way to being an amazing Doomfist. I'm just pointing that out.
Number 2, use block in unexpected ways. Charge your punch off a spam. Block hooks for teammates. Flash it for snipers. Don't just stand in front of the other team and hope they shoot you.
All right, I can say that I also have done a good job at tip 2. Do I stand in front of them and try to get the block damage? No. Do I use it randomly in the correct spots? No. Do I use block at random? Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're well on our way to being an amazing Doomfist.
Because if they don't, you're an open target. Number 3, Meteor Strike is one of the worst ults in the game. It's basically a glorified cooldown reset, and once you accept that, you'll be inting a lot less with it. If you have the balls to pick up this character, good luck to you, and Godspeed.
I want to point out that I need to build my ult first to be able to use it, so I can't really comment on tip number 3.
What was that? She did the yoinky sploinky. Like, what am I supposed to do, man?
We're watching a TikTok react of Flats. This is deep.
I'm back again. There is some serious trolling.
First off, I don't know how the this got through development. So here's what Blizzard needs to do before this character gets out and absolutely starts to ruin people's games. I'm not saying this from a perspective of, oh, they're gonna be so overpowered or, oh, they're so shit. Just 2 things. First of all, don't let them do this bullshit. If they use the cooldown to yoink someone back to spawn, make it stay on cooldown regardless of if they swap characters. I don't know how the fuck that made it through QA testing. And
oh, are we talking about like, okay, is this referring to, I mean, if anything, we respect that. Is this referring to like being able to pull people from spawn? I'm pretty sure this is fixed going into the season 4 patch. Are you talking about being able to pull people from the spawn doors over and over again? Like if you switch heroes? Did I miss that part of this? Wait, what did I miss?
Secondly, give the player who is tethered
the
fixed. Ability to cancel it. Do not make them cancel it by default, but maybe make it so that if you jump while you get tethered, it just snaps the tether and it's on a reduced cooldown.
Yeah, but if you do that, I think there's some interactions that might happen. You ever like sleep a roadhog as you're getting hooked and like what happens to you? You go flying. I think that's the reason why they can't do that. Like that's the reason why you can't like create that is because they'd have to find a way to make it so the player wouldn't go flying backwards. That's what happens when you like with Roadhog if like the Roadhog gets slept mid-hook.
And give them the ability to jump when they get hit by it. This would give them movement opportunities. This would give them flexibility. Because if they live launch the character like this, people are going to hate this character.
Well, this right here, by the way, I want to point this out.
I'm back again. There is some serious troll. You immediately get the cooldown back again.
So I think what Flats is referencing here is like switching over to like Lifeweaver and then going back. I think this is fixed going into the season 4. If I'm correct, I think this is actually fixed. Because that would definitely have been an absolute meme. You just go and spawn and switch back and forth when you used to be able to switch back and forth between honest sleep and stuff. I mean, might still be able to, but yeah, they're gonna like not allow that.
Oh, you can stop a mercy res by putting up a May wall?
Yep.
Doing this can come in handy to deny a res while you stay at a safe distance.
Stop res.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That works? However, this tech can be niche because of how specific it is to execute. The trick is to lift the soul up so that its distance from the mercy is far enough that the res will cancel. In order for this to happen, the mercy must also be walking away from the soul. Be sure not to lift the mercy with the soul or it will not cancel it.
So it's not, no, this isn't a bad advice. The thing is like when I play Mei, the problem is I get it to the situation where my teammates are resable. That's where I'm at with Mei. So I usually get it to the point where my teammates are able to be rezzed because I accidentally walled them off on the other side. I usually don't use it to be able to stop the res. I use it to be able to create the res, which is kind of more of the problem with me when I play Mei.
video games are seen as the most nice and sweet and wholesome players of that game, and that could not be farther from the truth. Every single support player is one minor inconvenience away from unleashing their inner strength and demolishing the entire enemy team with zero hesitation. But yeah, let's go with wholesome.
Y'all have seen my battle mercy, I'm just saying. I have a pretty good battle mercy.
We're at a Grandmaster level. Today we will be talking about Moira's ult, Coalescence. To maximize its value, you should keep these 3 things in mind. 1. You can heal your team and damage your opponents simultaneously, so try to hit both
Not happening.
allies and opponents at the same time.
Accidentally,
2.
maybe.
Your Coalescence duration is the same as your orb's cooldown, so it is best to throw an orb right before ulting to increase either your damage or healing output. 3.
Yep, I will always throw the damage orb out. That will not be an issue.
While you're using Coalescence, you are very vulnerable to all CC abilities like on a Sleep Dart or Orisa's Javelin.
Not anymore! Season 4 is tomorrow, all right? You can fade during Coalescence starting tomorrow. Now, this video will probably be up next week, and people are like, excuse you, the patch is already out, and you're saying it's tomorrow? Yeah, but we recorded this the day before Season 4, so how about that? You know, that's what we're, all right? We've always had really good stuff here by, is it Dunmore? We've seen some really good stuff.
You didn't know, and if this video helps you out, then help me out. Curve Dash. While Genji's regular dash moves in a straight line and ends when he hits directly onto something, the dash will also take Genji around corners and through most objects you can shoot through. This tech called a Curve Dash ends where Genji's dash normally would have if he hadn't been blocked by anything. So you can target enemies with it when they can't see you, and dodge enemy shots with this unpredictable movement. One-shot combo and short dash. If you hold secondary fire while dashing, it primes it to be immediately.
I'm actually good at the one-shot combo. I will say that. I get one shot all the time by the other team. They combo me down immediately. So I've gotten pretty good at that as Genji.
Released as soon as the dash ends. Combo this with a melee right after, and you can deal up to 242 damage.
That combo.
This can be difficult to do normally though, so use this tech with a short dash to consistently land right in front of your enemy, where you can easily land the secondary melee combo.
Yeah, that's not happening.
To do it, dash aiming slightly below your enemy, or dash from above where you want to end up. Dragon Blade end animation cancel. When Dragon Blade ends, it locks Genji in a sheathing animation, where you can't attack enemies or protect yourself with deflect.
Wait, Genji Blade ends? Usually I just go back to spawn.
But you can cancel this animation lock by dashing before the blade is ending, or using your wall climb for a moment. If you use deflect at the end of the Dragon Blade though, it still does the animation.
Good tips, by the way. These are all great tips. If you're trying to get good at Genji, these are good tips. I am terrible at Genji.
This game, bro. This game, bro. I hate this game, bro.
I like how it starts. I like how it starts with them absolutely missing shots in the mines.
I hate this game, bro.
And then here comes Diva! Hey, how's it going? Oh no! Oh, that was great. I just love watching the Diva run into it. I mean, what else is there to say at that point? Just a great play. You can't 5-stack in top lobbies.
So Valorant Premier is a thing that's coming out soon, where Premier players can basically queue up together and make a 5-man team and play at a more competitive level.
Okay.
And like Rocket League has tournaments. So what if we combine those two things for Overwatch? Make it so that you can stack with 4 other players regardless of rank and make a team. This team can only be played at certain hours of the day.
I mean, I'm down to try something like this because I feel like having the option to 5-stack even at some times is still a cool idea. So like, I'm not against that idea because I don't think they're going to bring 5-stacking back into actual ladder.
Lose once or lose twice, they are not
for GM.
out
That
of the
is.
tournament. The team is set. If you want to switch people around, you have to make a new team. This would allow for a more competitive version of ranked. It would make extremely entertaining streams where anyone can group up together regardless of the rank, but their team would be ranked on its own.
Yeah, that's fun.
A more casual thing for lower ranked players where they could queue with whoever they want. It'd be a more competitive thing the higher up you go because there's no limitations on who you can queue with. And it could even be a path towards tier 2 or tier 1 esports. I think things like the best teams go into playing contenders games.
I mean, that'd be fun. I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, I don't see anything wrong with having a system like that because I don't think they're going to bring back 5-stack into GM games. I think like at this point, they probably would have already added stacking back, in my opinion. Like, I think they already would have brought it back if they were going to bring it back because it's been like, the discussion about bringing stacking back has been a discussion for like years now. And it still hasn't been brought back going into Season 4 of Overwatch 2 now. My guess is that they won't bring back stacking to GM Top 500, but an option like this wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, I'd have a blast being able to 5-stack with anybody and have like your own like team rating and things like that. I think that'd be cool, right? Like, because at that point, not only can you play with anybody you want at that point, right? So it doesn't even like have this like situation where you can just like create a team with people and have fun. I think that'd be kind of cool. I don't think that'd be bad for Overwatch. Straight up. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Overwatch one trick to have on your team. I'll gladly take any one trick at my rank, as that would mean at least one person on my team would know how to play their hero. This is facts. A lot of things in the game are really misunderstood in lower ranks. For example, heroes like Breek can be a nightmare if played for map control and not like a Reinhardt. A dedicated one trick Pharah knows how—
I will say I always give the advice of don't play a hero like a Reinhardt, and that's pretty much what I mean by that.
A reverse counter. This is actually also true. Good Pharahs use vertical cover to stay fully healed, and they will also use it to close the gap and 2-tap squishies. A widow that can't hit shots is absolutely useless. I've been imagining—
Okay, listen. First of all, listen. I have good Venom Mine placement, so you can talk about my Widow all day long, but my Venom Mine placement is next to none. Nobody else has the Venom Mine placement that I can have. I'm telling you right now. I have some of the top tier Venom Mines. Okay?
Matches with widows that ended up with 5 kills total. It's brutal. If the widow—
Yeah, but if you have a good Venom Mine, it's 10 kills. You might have 20 deaths, but it's 10.
can aim, they're probably in a higher rank. Reaper. This is a good one. One tricks will pat themselves on the back for constant flank kills, while Pharah Mercy pick off our entire team because one of our DPS is busy Pink Panthering his ass around them. Look, Pharah definitely makes the game feel like you're forced into counter picking. It's pretty awful. A lot of this thread ended up being about Pharah. What do you think?
I'm bad at Pharah. I mean, the discussion is like, I think a lot of the time at most ranks, you pretty much can play what you want. Like, there's going to be counters and stuff, but a lot of the time people are, like, it was what, the reverse counter idea was that basically, like, a Pharah will eventually know that, like, even if there's a Widow, there's ways around the map where you can pretty much dominate a Widow. Vice versa, right? But anyway, yeah. That's pretty much what the discussion is. And in most ranks, you can pretty much play whatever you want. A lot of when you see meta and, like, really hard counters and things to, like, most of that is based off of teamwork. And in some ranks, there just isn't that teamwork, right? You pretty much can play whatever you want because you're not really relying on the meta to win games. You're more relying on just on, like, kind of popping off and whatever, right? Yeah, these are good TikToks. I enjoyed these. If you would like to see more of these videos, obviously on my Discord, we have a section where you can submit TikToks. So it'd be awesome if you have any ones you want to see be reacted to, all that in general. I always have a ton of fun doing these. It's more about how often we get the submissions. It took a bit to get these ones, so if you want to be able to submit some of the TikToks, and if they get approved, we might be able to react to them on stream. Go on my Discord, you'll see a section for that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. Sub to the YouTubes if you haven't, all 3 of them. Great videos in all 3 of them. Hope you all have an amazing day/night.